So first, I would like to introduce you about Goodenough Harris. Just give me one moment. Let me share something with all of you. So here we are going to discuss things about very important test and highly controversial, highly used, recommended by psychologists and psychiatrists. That is the Goodenough. Henry's Goodenough draw a man test. Actually, earlier this test was well known as draw a person test. And after that, in the draw a person test, maximum scoring was for 53 points. Later, Goodenough Harris extended the research work and they designed a new test. And that new test is named as the draw a man test, not draw a person test. In draw a person test, more areas of the of intellectual properties are added, and maximum scoring in the new one is the new one of the dry man test is 73. So I repeat, in the old version, maximum or highest scoring is only 53. In second version of Goodenough Harris dry man test, that is 73. But Indian version of dry man Goodenough Harris, which is rediscovered by Dr. Parmila Thakur, that is having 106 plus 1 score, meaning maximum 107 score. So there is a sequence of upgradation of this Goodenough Harris dry man test. So we will start from the basic and we will spend less time on introduction and theoretical part. Greater emphasis will be given on practical approach. So Florence Laura Goodenough, born in Pennsylvania in 1886, youngest of 9 siblings, homeschooled, earned equivalent of high school degree, devoted her life to her work and never married or had children. Died in 1959. In her latter years, despite failing vision, she maintained a courageous spirit and lovely interest in her profession, as said by Dalby Harris. Actually, this test was earlier designed by Florence Laura Goodenough and Dalby Harris. That's why the name of the test is Goodenough Harris. If we will talk about the professional accomplishment, so on the bachelor degree of pedagogy degree from Mulesville, Pennsylvania Normal School, 1908, and Bachelor of Science and Master of Arts degree from Columbia in 1920 and 1921. Earned a doctorate from Stanford University in 1924. While studying at Columbia, Goodenough was the director of research for Rutherford and the Perth Amboy, New Jersey public school system. She worked at Minneapolis Child Guidance Clinic, remained as the professor at the University of Minnesota until retirement 1947. Then she held many positions throughout her life, including president of the Society for Research in Child Development and secretary for the Division on Childhood and Adolescence of the American Psychological Association. So, preliminary analysis and development of dry man test. So we will have a just quick introduction here because our main purpose is proper testing tool, understanding the tool, how to use that tool. Actually, we have to understand that. So Goodenough began collecting children's drawing from Perth Amboy, New Jersey public schools while working as a director of research in 1920. Nearly 4,000 drawings were collected from children in kindergarten through 4th grade. These drawings were made under essentially the same conditions as those outlined in the final revised test procedure. So objects were selected on the basis of age grade classification, drawings observed to determine what characteristic changes take place in children's drawing with increasing age and intellectual development. So what was the earlier purpose? Because these paintings were collected from kindergarten to upper level. So meaning every year, age of the candidate is changing till the grade 4. So every year the same crowd, same population was used just to check what are the changes taking place during the age. Characteristics defined objectively, artistic effects entirely disregarded. So sometimes what happened when we have this test, even today, many students becomes too much artistic. So that is still we need to ignore. Rough scale of about 40 point devised. Various points were rejected and added, resulting in Goodenough's final 51 point scale. Then 2 more points were added as the bonus point. So first scale of the Goodenough is having only 53 scale point. So Dalby Harris revised Goodenough dry person test. So a student of Goodenough at the University of Minnesota, Harris offers a revision of Goodenough's original scale and an extension of dry man test, adding to the drawing of a man, a drawing of a woman, and a drawing of the self. So earlier version of Goodenough Harris was dry person actually. So revised by Dr. Harris and new changes were made here. Then further explores term intellectual maturity. So how the intellectual maturity was defined there. So by intellectual maturity means the ability to form concepts of increasingly abstract character. So there should be ability to perceive, ability to abstract or classify, ability to generalize. So these 3 points were focused in the revised version of Goodenough, which is now known as the Goodenough Harris. So there were many things earlier, many questions were there. Is there any difference in the scoring of male or female or boys and girls? So in the measurement of intelligence by drawing, Goodenough discusses the differences in girls and boys ranking on the dry man test. She notes that the girls rank somewhat higher than the boys at all ages, and it is a very well-known fact that girls get maturity level earlier as compared to boys. This is a easy and well-known and well-established fact. So this was the actual reason that the girls rank somewhat higher always than the boys according to their common age group. And the variability of the boys is on the whole slightly greater. It is also observed fact that a variation among the readings of the girls' painting is lesser and variation in the paintings prepared by boys, that variation was greater. So many research were done. This is just to introductory method. Scoring procedure actually according to first Goodenough, there were 40 points, total scoring 51. After Goodenough Harris, there were again 40 points, total scoring 53. Again there was a revision and total scoring was 73. So like these are few important points one should always focus in a drawing, like whether head is present or not. If head is present, so location of head, whether head is tilted, any specific representation, nose is clear, pointed nose is there, lips are there, and what about the eyes, eyebrow, and different color, complexion of the structure of face. If neck is present, neck may be twisted or a straight one, neck is properly clear or not. If neck is directly attached to the trunk and head or some joints are visible there. So these things we have to focus there. Like shoulder, directly hands are attached with the trunk or a point or curve of the shoulder is observed there. This is very important points to focus while discussing, while analyzing or scoring Goodenough Harris. So after that, there are few scoring sheets. Here I will provide you such kind of scoring sheets that if you are able to collect the right score, then using right score, you can find out mental age. And chronological age is very clear. So chronological age and mental age both can be used to find out IQ. Now, so these are few important paintings used by Goodenough and after that by Harris. So the lowest drawing man test score was made by a student, a female fourth grader. This is the lowest one still, but not Indian version. I'm not talking about the Indian version, non-Indian version, lowest scoring. So actually you can see here head, neck, trunk, joints, legs, nothing is mentioned here, just symbolic lines are given. But face is more clear, having little expression of tongue, having little good expression of ears. Okay, mild nose is, there are no eyebrows, but still hair is proper, and there are Googles are there. So raw score was 24 and standard score was 86. Second and third lowest score, drawing man test. You can check there is a difference in these two. If you see one painting is having a man, a flower, a kind of mild green garden, but in the second one nothing is there, but it is much better and clear as compared to first one. Here you can see clear expression of ears, nose, eyes, and a little bit neck you can feel, but directly head is attached with the trunk. Finger expression is also there, and you can say kind of foot sole is observed in the second one. This was the highest drawing man test score, and it was made by a student, a male third grader, ranked in the group first, 75 to 100 percentile, and raw score was 51, which was the highest score for Goodenough and Harris, and then standard score was 148. But in this picture you can check fist is there. Okay, counting of finger is wrong, but still you can check many things are clear. Expression of face, lines of face, nose expression, lips can be observed very clearly, and mouth is open, and a few dark circles can be observed, few facial lines can be observed, eyes very clear, glass very clear, eye lens is very clear, brows is very clear, and you can check their proper style of the hair, and something is holding, and neck is also presented here. You can check there is a very clear visible neck. Now second and third highest score, dry man test. So simply both are highly scoring. In the first one, a man is standing having proper finger but no proper orientation, but face is more clear. Okay, I have a very simple question with everyone. There are two pics. First, a man is without cap, and second, a man with a cap. So what is very special in the painting in which there is a painting of a man without a cap, and it looks like this one is the mature man having beard. So I'm waiting in the chat box. Try to answer what is very special in this painting. Please check again. I'm talking about the painting of mature person, which is looking like a mature person. So there is something which is extremely important when you will use a Goodenough Harris Indian version. That is extremely important. Yes, I got few questions here. Style very clear, legs are to the side. Okay, expressions are in the eyes, hand, finger. Okay, something else is also there which is very important and which is common in both the paintings actually. Bearded, correct, clear figure, all parts of body are clear, correct. Try to find out one point which is generally actually neglected by the scorer or the psychiatrist or the psychologist. Grown-up men, okay. Sketching both, okay. Neck connection, correct. Beard, stretch, hand, correct. One thing is very important. Left picture, the hair is left out and without cap, correct. Shoulder is clear, correct. Yes, shoulders are clear. Very nice. Dressing, shoes, yes. Both are having mild expression of shoes. So, okay, side standing, correct. One point is still missing. I want to get that answer about that. That point, extremely important point. Okay. I'm now okay. Ears not seen in second picture. No issue. That may be covered with the hair because of hairstyle. I'm just talking about the first painting in which blue shirt type or t-shirt type structure is there. More fingers. Okay. Okay. What do you, okay, now try to focus on a point which I'm going to tell you. Try to focus ratio of body, trunk, head and legs. In which pic ratio is more accurate? Cap 1 or without cap? This is very important feature. If you are going to judge someone using drawing, so we have to check the ratio of body parts. So in first and second pics, yes, maximum ratios are missing in which pic? In which pic? Cap 1 or without cap? You can check in the capped picture, ratio of legs disturbing and hands are too long as compared to first one. And according to first pic, you can guess there is more perfection about the ratio of head, neck, trunk, legs and hand. Yes. So this proportion is not okay. Head is, yes. In cap pic, yeah, proportion in the cap pic is not good. Even you can check legs are too short, hands are too lengthy in case of capped picture. So in first case, you can check, it looks like head and you can check neck. Neck should also have a proper ratio. Head, neck, trunk, legs and hands have near about better, or you can say perfection in the ratio. The ratio is very clear. And because of that ratio, it looks like this is prepared by actually elder one. And in second case, if it will be prepared by elder one or older people, still it will look like prepared by a kid. So this thing is extremely important while using this test, the ratio. Now I will share something very interesting and important. So while having drawing, we have to take care of body part ratio. If the ratio is clear, meaning maturity level is different. If ratio is not clear, then we can say maturity level is not good enough. So I'm going to share two different scoring keys here, but these are not supposed to be used these days. We will use latest version. Just check this one. So in this case, this is the Goodenough draw a person test. First is scoring. Then we will have, this is Goodenough. Then we will have Goodenough Harris. Then we will have Goodenough Harris extended by Parmila Thakur. That is our purpose. So if now I instructed already in the WhatsApp group, if it is possible for all of you, try to take a diagram or a figure prepared by a kid, if it is possible. Now, how to conduct this test? So we will talk about previous two latest modern version. So according to Goodenough draw a person test, directions will be like, I want you to make a picture of a person. Sometimes what happens? When you are giving instruction to someone that you have to prepare an image of a person, generally we give them clues. Clues like what should be there in the pic. So never provide those clues which are required to draw an image of a person. If you will give these clues, then how can you check the total intelligence? So that should be up to the thinking process, observation, abstractism of that candidate only. So I want you to make a picture of a person, make the very best picture that you can take your time. One important thing, no time limit is there. Although average time of minimum to highest is 30 minutes. But still if person is taking more time, we can't say that time is over. So there is no limit of time, extremely important. Just motivate your object. Sometimes it happens that the object used to make mistake, and because of those mistakes, object may lose interest in drawing that image. So just motivate, but never give any clue. Even don't say there should be a garden, there should be a dog, there should be an animal. just provide a plain sheet, A4 size sheet. I will give you sample paper of scoring sheet. Just provide a plain sheet. Don't say there should be window, there should be hut, there should be plant, bird or something. No, it should be the creativity of object. Now, scoring. That is very important part. So first, class A. This is the preliminary stage in which drawing cannot be recognized as human figure. I will show you now all the figures after discussion of this. So if you are not able to understand anything, no recognizable human figure, so you will, if you feel the aimless, uncontrolled scribblings are there only. So if you feel aimless, uncontrolled scribblings are there, score will be 0. But if you feel lines somewhat controlled, okay, no human image is observed, but lines are still there, which are controlled line, score will be 1. Class B. This will be that kind of the drawing prepared by object which is having something recognizable. So remember, classify the drawing prepared by the client into two categories. If nothing is like the recognizable as human figure, then classify category A. If you feel lines are just skimming, then 0. If you feel lines are little controlled, then score 1. Now, second category of the paintings will include in which something is recognizable. If something is recognizable, then what you have to check? Number 1, head, if head present or not. Remember, each point will have only 1 credit. Don't think like the 6 point means 6 credit. We have to check these points, and each point will give only credit of 1. So if head is present, credit 1, legs present, credit 1, arms are present, credit 1, trunk present, credit 1, length of trunk is greater than the breadth, then the credit 1. Sometimes what happens, you will get such kind of drawing in which breadth of the trunk is greater than the length. In that case, we will mark it differently. If shoulders are indicated or not. I will answer for all the messages. Just let me describe these two scoring keys. Then we will use extremely important scoring key, and I will provide you all the scoring, and we will perform a practical here. So first focus should be gross details, whether these gross details are present or not. Now we have to check attachment of different kind of joints, like both arms and legs are attached to trunk or not. So first focus on the head, legs, arms, trunk and length of trunk and shoulders, whether these are there or not. If these are there, now after giving scoring for one for head, one for leg, one for arms, one for trunk, then we will focus on the scoring of attachment. If both arms and legs are attached to the trunk, scoring is 1, otherwise 0. Remember, if arms and legs attached to trunk at correct points, sometimes what happen, I will show you many paintings in which legs or hands are not correctly positioned, rightly positioned. In that case, you will give 0. If correct position is there, 0.1. Neck is present, 0.1. Neck is not present, okay, leave that point. Outline of neck continuous with that of head, trunk or both. In that case, if outline is observed with head, trunk or both, that case will give you 0.1. So first gross detail. Second, we have to check attachment points. Now we will focus on head. In the head, we have to check whether eyes are present or not. One eye may be there, two eyes may be there. Nose is present or not. If these points are present, score will be 1 for each point. If mouth is present, 0.1. Nose and mouth in 2 dimensions are given. 2 lips are given. That 0.1. Nostrils are presented or not. Nostril means these holes of the nose are presented. Then 0.1. Hairs are present. 0.1. Hair on more than circumference of head and non-transparent better than scribble. Sometimes you can check that over the structure of head, just a outline is given, okay, head. No, proper hairs are presented by fine lines. or scribbling lines, then you will say 0.1. So I repeat again, we will check gross details, then attachment, then details of head. Now we have to check details of clothing. Clothing is present or not. If you feel indication of cloth is there, like a pocket is there, button is there, collar is there, point is 1. 2 articles of clothing like hat, trouser, shirt, at least 2 clothes are present, then 0.1. Entire drawing free from transparency. Sometimes you can check over a hand structure, there is outer line to show the shirt, and outside the shirt you can see the hand. So this should not be there. Now 4 articles are present like hat, shoes, coat, shirt, necktie, belt, trouser, any other thing. If you feel 4 sets of clothes are given, again 0.1. Costumes complete with incongruities like business suit, soldier's costume, hat, sleeves, trouser, shoes must be there, then again 0.1. After that, we will focus on the hand details. So please get ready. After discussion of this, we will have extended version, then original inventory I will provide you here for practice and scoring. Fingers are present. Any indication is there of finger like rough finger but not clear, 5 or 6 finger or 10 finger, okay. Fingers are meaning there is a symbol, okay, fingers are there, 1. Correct number of fingers are there, again we have to check fingers in 2 dimensions, like sometimes all 5 fingers are of equal length or different length. Then we have to check, is there any rotation, opposition of thumb is there or not. You can check in the video. There, this thumb is generally having a 90-degree angle. So if thumb is having 90-degree angle, if any angle is given, but this angle should not be more than 80, that thumb is moving in the opposite side, it should not happen. Hand shown distinct from finger or not. So now we have to focus on few joints. Arm joint are given like elbow, shoulder or both. Leg joints are given knee, hip or both. Then this is important point, proportion. Head not more than half or less than 1/10 of trunk. So total height of head should be either half or no, it should not be more than the half of trunk, not less than 1/10 of the trunk. So we have to check it with extreme care. For that we can use a scale. Okay, just measure the total height of trunk and then compare with the height of head. Arms are equal to trunk but not reaching knees. Legs not less than the trunk, not more than twice the size. So legs should be at least minimum equal to trunk or maximum double length. Feet in 2 dimensions, not more than 1/3 of or less than 1/10 of the leg. Both arms and the lengths in 2 dimensions we have to check. Now we have to check in the drawing motor neuron coordination. What is this motor neuron coordination? Lines are firm without any marks or not. There is proper crosses, proper gap, proper overlapping. Okay, so you have to check whether overlapping or zigzag pattern is there or very sharp clear line is there. All lines are firm with correct joining or not. Focus on that. Outline of head without obvious irregularities. Meaning it should not happen that if someone is going to draw oval shaped head, so it should be oval shape. Check this point. Eye details, brows or lashes are there or not. Eye details, pupils shown or not. Eye details, proportion, length greater than the width. Sometimes students are going to draw, or very young child may draw eyes like the cat eye. So width of the eye should be lesser as compared to the length, or length is greater than the width. Glance is shown only plus in profile. So if a few glances are presented, so you will give an extra bonus point. Chin and forehead as given in the diagram or not, that is also very important. Now you can check projection of chin. So this is taken as a positive point. Heels clearly presented or not. Body profile, head, trunk, feet without any error. then we can check if there is transparency or not. So now, how will you score? Simple formula of IQ, mental age upon chronological age into 100. So if score is 1, mental age will be 3 or 3 months. Similarly, if score is 2, mental age will be considered 3 years, 6 months. If score is suppose 10, so in this case, if score is suppose 10, the mental age should be considered 5 years, 6 months. So this is that version which was earlier prepared by Goodenough. Now we will have a version which is Goodenough Harris. So first was this is of Goodenough. Now we are going to study Goodenough Harris one. If anyone is having any question about this Goodenough one, you can post just now. I'm just waiting for a few questions so that we can discuss. Let me open the Goodenough Harris. Interpretation of, obviously, we are just following a sequence. We have tried to understand that Goodenough, now Goodenough Harris, then the final and original version. You can check in the camera. This I will provide you in the form of PDFs. We will practice this one. Okay. I got, yeah. You are supposed to give only one score. Actually, Goodenough Harris gave only one score for Goodenough gave one score. Goodenough Harris gave only one score. But latest version, which is the Indian version, there we will have up to scoring of 8 for only 1 point. Okay. No, in Indian perspective, we are supposed to use the latest version, not for that old version. So in the latest version, you will check for a single eye, there may be marking of scoring of 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. So we will discuss that one also. Just wait. I'm going to share now Goodenough Harris one. This is the Goodenough Harris. So Goodenough created a score of 51 plus 2 and Harris created a score of 73. And latest, which is applicable now, having a score of 106, 106 plus 1. Now, check the Goodenough Harris version. So if head is present, outline, neck is present with 1 or 2 lines, neck outline is given, eyes are present 1 or 2, eyes details. So you can check head is present, neck, then 1 scoring extra for neck version. If eye is present, then we are having 4 different points in the eyes. You can check here. If nose is present, so here we are using to nose 2 dimension, longer than wider. If mouth is present, we will check here lips 2 dimensions with 3 lines, nose and lip in 2 dimension, chin, forehead, eyes and nose centrally located or not, or chin or forehead are not centrally located. These may be in the left or right. If chin is projected, pointed chin or forehead line, chin is there. So we have to check that. Jaw are clear or not. Jaw are having curved chin or neck lines. So these are few points which are given in the, yeah, here, yes, this is also Goodenough. Actually, first one was Goodenough. This is Goodenough Harris. Again, each point will be having a score of 1 only. Point 56, just wait. Okay, just wait. So, because this is of not use of any special use now, so we will have latest version. So you can check here, if mouth is there, hairs are present. Hair detail, more than circumference, non-transparent hair, style, forelock or sideburns, shaded or combining, brush marks are present or not, or comb marks are present or not. We have to check in the hair. So in mouth present, we have to see its sub pointer as give points each right. Correct. You are right. You are right. So first, how to score? Listen, I'm talking about Mr. Veera. Check this point number 18. If hairs are present, point is 1. Now, 1 point for hair details, a 19 number. 1 point for hair detail of point number 20. And if you are not able to identify 19, 20, 21, but you feel hairs are present, only 1 point will be given. So check it again. Okay, we will focus here only. So if hairs are present, okay, 1 point. If the circumference, non-transparency is measurable, 1 more point. If we styled with bangs, for a lock, sideburns, then again 1 point. If shaded to show combing or brush mark, again 1 point. If only few lines are present to represent hairs, then 1 point. So remember, in case of hair, if only indication of hair is given 1 point, if you find something about circumference, non-transparency, 1 point. If you find some style, 1 point. If you feel a sign of comb or brush mark, then again 1 point. So maximum points will be 4, correct. What does the word non-transparency? Okay, that I will explain with the diagram. Just give me 1 moment. Let me complete this because we are going to use something else, which is more important. Ears are present. Okay, 1 point. If correct positions of the ear and proportion, size, ratio is correct, then 1 more point. If fingers are present, again 1 more point. If number of fingers are correct, 1 more point. If fingers are 2-dimensional, all 5 fingers have different height, then give 1 more point. If thumb is having indication, not a finger, if you feel the thumb is represented, then again 1 more point. So maximum points will be in case of finger 1 and minimum will be 1 or 0. Hand present. If line or arm broadened to suggest the head, then in that case 1. If wrist and ankles are given, 1 more point. Arms present, 2 arms unless profile, then 1 point. Shoulders are present, 1 point, but shoulder details are given, then points will change now. Like if shoulders are continuous with neck and arms, no dropping is there, then if no drooping is there, 1 more point. Arms at side or engaged in activity, like someone is holding something, someone is moving hand, someone is doing something using hands. Listen, if okay, normally hands are presented, 1 point. But if the person is rotating, moving, even if the hand is in the upper position, it is activity, because in upper position we have to use energy. So there is motor neuron coordination actually. So in that case, 1 more point. Arms at side or engaged in activity. Okay. Elbow joints, abrupt bend, clear bend is there, or crease in the sleeve is observed. No curving is there. Check here in my hand structure. You can check here, clear curve is visible in the shirt, meaning there is indication of elbow. Then you will give 1 point. Legs are present, 2 legs, 1 point. Crotch, 2 sidelines, then again 1 point. Hip details are present, curve line of legs, 1 point. Knee joints are clear, then 1 point. So in this way, first check these dark points, which are bold letters, then their details. Like feet presents, proportion of feet longer than wider, heels are present, curve structure, feet perspective foreshortening, shoe detail, laces are there, tie is there, strap is there in the shoe, attachment of limb to trunk, like you can represent using belt. Attachment of limb to trunk is correct position or not. Trunk is present or not. Very important. Trunk should be in 2 dimension, longer than wider. This means this is the meaning of 2 dimension. Longer than wider. Proportion of head to trunk. Check it, very important. Head should not be greater than half of the length of trunk. Head should not be smaller than 1/10 of the trunk. Meaning, if trunk is of 10 centimeter, So maximum height of the head should be, maximum length of the head should be 5 centimeter, because trunk is 10 centimeter. And what will be 1/10 of 10? 1 centimeter. So head should not be less than 1/10, meaning 1 centimeter. Head should not be more than half, meaning not more than 5 centimeter. I hope it is clear now. Similarly, all proportions. So clothing. Now you can check in Goodenough Harris version, clothing is, I think, more focused. Clothing 2 articles, non-transparent 4 articles, complete costume, each one 1 point. Only 1 error, then 1 point, only 2 error, then no error, again 1 point. Full face is there, proper location, coordination of arm, leg, trunk in the uniform, juncture position, not marked tendency to cross, overlap, leave gap, superior motor coordination, meaning no cross, overlap, gap with the lines, firmly drawn lines should be there. So, okay, so in this way you have to score it. And after scoring, now, because earlier in the Goodenough, scoring was 51 plus 2. Now scoring is 71 plus 2, meaning 2 is bonus. So now this age criteria will change. If score is 1, now mental age will be considered 2. Scoring 2, mental age will be considered 2.1. Similarly, if score is 14, mental age will be considered 4.8. I got a question, let me check. Can you let me know about freedom of movement of elbow? Yes, that I will represent everything using diagrams in the next slide. All possible diagrams are there. And we have to perform one test with that. So you can check, now scoring is different with the different age. So I will provide you this one also. Now check impulsivity. So these are few important points which we have to keep in the mind. Poor integration of parts is observed at the age less than 7. Gross asymmetry of limb is observed in the age of less than 5. Transparency is generally observed in the age of less than 5. So remember, if you are having few negative point, yes, please clear point 60, 61. Give me one moment, I will explain it. So if you feel, okay, poor integration of part is there in the drawing, please take care and check the age of object. Because according to age, what do you mean by transparency? I will show you diagram. In the next slide, I'm having all possible diagrams of every body part, so don't worry. So what I'm saying, this part is extremely important. Take care of this. Like, check impulsivity. In case of impulsivity, there will be subjectivity in the assessment. Just wait. Poor integration will be observed in the age less than 7. So these points are very important. We have to check. Anger and aggressiveness will become significant at the age of 5 or greater than 5. So these points are very important while scoring or assessing a drawing prepared by a client. We have to check these points. If you feel teeny figures, short arms, arm pressed to body, omission of eyes, meaning the person is having shyness and withdrawing personality. Now, one more thing which I am telling you here, and you will not find this one in the Indian version. Okay, just by scoring, you have calculated IQ. For the IQ calculation, you will use raw score using with the mental age or age equivalents here. Suppose someone is of 10 years age, and here according to raw score, the age equivalent is of 15. So mental age will be 15 and original age. What is the meaning of original age? Original age is according to date of birth. That is non-chronological age. So 15 upon 14 into 100. So you can be able to find out IQ from this segment. On basis of age mentioned, we will consider the points, yes. But not in the latest version. But these points are very important. What I am going to explain now extremely important. I will focus about this point. which is now under cursor. Please check it. Extremely important. I'm taking just one example. If in a drawing you feel slanting in the range of 15 degree or more, you feel a very tiny head, clown or robot, non-human figure, you feel a kind of monster or grotesque figure, you feel omission of arms, omission of hands, omission of legs, omission of feet, meaning that object is having insecurity, feelings of inadequacy. So this is also the personality check using these scores. So not only IQ, you can guess these personality traits by using Goodenough Harris. Actually, Goodenough Harris has not fixed proper age. According to Goodenough Harris, test is applicable for the age of 2.5. According to Goodenough, applicable for the age of 2.5 to 12. According to Goodenough Harris, 3 to 12, and the latest version we will study 2.5 to 15 years, which is applicable now. Omission means something is missing. So if in a drawing or image you feel these points, so please repeat about the calculation. Yeah, I will give you formula in the next slide and everything. Why is the age mentioned then? I couldn't understand your question, Miss Megha. Now, check it. So if these points are reflected in any drawing, so you can guess the personality traits. Like, check it. Now, another one. If shading of face, shading of body, arm and limbs, shading of hands, arm or neck, legs are pressed together, omission of body, or clouds, rain or birds are there, meaning person might have anxiety or psychosomatic traits. I mean the age is mentioned in the one you reading. Yes, yes, correct. And these points are according to age only. Yes, you are right. So check this. Anxiety and psychometric. Shading of face is the case of anxiety and psychometric when the age is 5 plus. Okay, so remember this. This is not applicable everywhere. If shading is given by someone else, so we will consider only for kids above 5. Now these points are given in front of traits, and these traits are telling about the age group. So these traits we have to consider according to age group. It should not happen that, okay, let's check here. If these traits which are now under cursor, you can't say these traits are applicable equally for all age groups. For each trait, age group is mentioned in front of this, like here. Okay, shading of face for the 5-year plus, shading of body arms 8-year plus, leg pressed together for the age 5-year plus. Like this we have to check. Not applicable commonly. Yes. More than, no, it is not about score more than 5. It is about the age. Someone asked, a 5 greater than means the score more than 5. No, it tells about the age group, 5 or above 5. Is this clear? It is not about scoring. Make it very clear. This slide which is in front of you, this is not about the scoring. This is about the age group and traits. So in this way, this single drawing can be used to calculate IQ as well as, yes, total emotional indicator means what? Total emotional indicator means, actually there are different points. What you have to check here? Wait. Find out all these points which is applicable according to age group. How? Suppose you are having a drawing made by, I request to all of you, just wait for the question answer session, because we have to use one more inventory which is the final. Okay. So now I will not answer this time for next 5-6 minutes. Just explanation. Suppose you are having a drawing of a person. Find out these traits which are presented here and check which trait. Suppose the drawing is made by a person which is having age 5 or greater than 5. So all these points will be applicable. How? Check it. Impulsivity points, insecurity points, anxiety psychometric points, shyness withdrawing points, anger aggressiveness, and then overall total you will write here. This is total number of emotional indicators in that age group. Got it? Organic signs you will check here only. So for each painting or each drawing prepared by the subject, check all these points, whether these points are applicable or not, and tick your points. Or suppose someone is of age group 8 years, so check impulsivity, nothing is applicable. In the impulsivity, nothing is applicable. In case of insecurity, only one point is applicable, and you have to check if it is present or not. In case of anxiety, only 2 points are applicable, whether these are present or not. I'm talking about the age group 8 plus. Similarly, in case of organic sign, you can check for the age group 8 year. These points are applicable. Okay, so in this way, all these points you have to find out in that drawing whether these are applicable or not. Then you can decide organic sign and emotional indicators. Now you can ask question related about this scoring. Omission of hand. Hidden hands, you feel hands are represented but not clearly visible. Okay, what I'm saying, heads are present but not clearly visible. But in second case, you feel hands are not given. So when hands are not given, in that case, you will say omission of the hands. Okay, perverser is actually used as a short form of preserver. Okay, meaning someone is trying to do something but actually feeling very difficult or not able to achieve that point. Is this clear? Age group is considered in chronological age. Yeah, this inventory of emotional and organic trait is about the chronological age, not about emotional trait. Okay, so after counting these signs which are there, you have to count total points. And after counting total points, we will say this is the level of emotional things. So actually, what are organic traits? These are derived from the properties of a living being. Whether you feel there is a coordination in the body, some kind of movement is given in the body, some kind of perception of the eye, like looking in the sky, looking at some point is given. So lively traits, living beings traits. Okay, living being traits are organic traits.